Hello, welcome back to my grading tutorial, and today we will be focusing on looking at 9.2 examples. Okay, so right here, as always, we have my cheat sheet. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example. Here's a beautiful copy of my Marvel Team Up #1. Let's take a look. So far so good. Okay, you see that right there, that's production related. That happened on the cover as well as the first couple pages. Not a big deal. As I mentioned a few times in the past, CGC does not downgrade the book that much with that flaw. For sure, you're not going to see 9.8 slabs with that kind of production flaw, but from 9.6 and below, you can see many books that have that kind of production cut problem. Okay, so let's take a look at this book. You see one tiny flaw there by the staple, so that's one. That's two. There's three. Potentially four. And then you have this slightly blunted corner. Okay, so you see 4 or 5 flaws for sure. Okay, very tiny. The miswrap of this cover slightly help the books because there's 4 or 5 spots that you can see a slight ding on the spine. If this book was perfectly wrapped, most likely the black will be damaged more, the black areas, but you can see easily 4 or 5 little ding along with the slightly blunted corner right there. Okay, and then the slight color loss there on the green area. I'm not sure if that's production related, but I count it as part of the flaw, so I count it as the blunt corner is 1, and then the slight rub right there is 2, and then there's 3, and then there's 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so if you look at that, and if you look at the rest of the book, this book is beautiful. Okay, as you can see with the light, superb. Nothing else is wrong with the book. The back cover is clean, nothing wrong there. And so if I was to give this a grade, I definitely can see it as a 9.2. Can it be higher? Sure. It's all depend on how the graders view those tiny little ding that I point out. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see this in a 9.4 slabs, but for me, I'm happy to call this a solid, strong 9.2. Okay, this book here is a beautiful book. Let me show you the spine. There is not one flaw at the spine. Okay, I pulled this out as an example because the rest of this book is super sharp, razor sharp corners, edges, nothing wrong, but let me show you why it is a 9.2, albeit a strong 9.2. Take a look at this corner here. You see the 2 light creases right there. They are tiny. They are probably less than a 1/4 inch each, okay, in size, but because of those 2 little flaws right there, the 2 little creases right there, I think that's would be too much to give it a 9.4, albeit small little creases. But because of those 2 and the rest of this book is flawless, I grade it a solid, strong 9.2. If I was to sell this, I would have no problem selling it as a 9.2. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This one here, you see a slightly rounded crease corner right here. This is very tiny. If you're going to measure this flaw, you're talking about less than 1/8 of an inch. Okay, more like 1/116. So it's very tiny. I'm not sure it's production related or not, but for now, you know, let's just call it a little flaw. And here you can't really see it, but there is also a tiny little flaw. So a tiny little crease, you know, more like 1/8, 1/16. So if you take into account these two soft corners, and then let me show you what's wrong with the spine. If you look at the book straight on, it's hard to see what's wrong with the spine. It looked pretty decent. You know, you would look at this book and think that it has a good shot at being 9.4 with those two little corners problem. But let me show you the spine. If you can see, you see that where the barcode is? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a whole bunch of little dings at the spine. Okay, a whole lot of them. And then there's some more as you go up. Not as many, but there's 2 or 3 for sure in the upper spine, and a good 4 or 5 major ding there at the spine near the bottom. So due to the cumulative problem that I see at the spine, as well as the 2 potentially small creases at both corners, I give this a 9.2. Okay, and the back covers of this one is slightly dirty, as you can see. You know, often I hear people say that a dirty back covers can knock a book down, maybe for 9.8, maybe for 9.6, but when you get down to the 9.2, 9.4 level, I don't think that the dirty back cover here play any part in the overall grade. Okay, and here's again, it's a solid 9.2. Last but not least is an example where I think we are looking at a borderline weak 9.2, potentially somewhere between 9 and 9.2. Okay, so let's take a look at this book. Top corner, razor sharp. Okay, and if you look at the edge, beautiful. Let me point out the major flaw that make this a tough one to give a 9.2. Right there, you see that corner crease right there? If you were to take out a measuring ruler, you will see that this is not, it's about 3/8 of an inch. It's less than half, but slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch. Okay, so right there. So if you look at my scales, okay, if I say that there's a 1/2 inch corner crease, you know, 9.0 max. Okay, so you're looking at this book, the crease is definitely bigger than a 1/4 inch, but less than 1/2 inch. So right there, unless the rest of this book is super sharp with no other flaws, 9.2 should be doable. But let me show you. There's one ticks right there by the snake. There's one, and then 2. Okay, so there's 2 fairly visible spine ticks, as well as one third one here, very light, where the staple is, not a big deal. But as you can see, because of those 2 or 3 other little flaws there, along with this corner crease, I have a hard time saying that this is a solid 9.2. It's a weak 9.2 and a strong 9.0. I would be more comfortable grading this as a 9.0 if I sell it. Okay, and the back is flawless. Beautiful book. Yeah, like I said, this is a beautiful 9.0, 9.2 for sure. Somewhere in the middle. I hope the video helped you guys out there. And anyhow, thanks for watching. And I will come back next time with the focus on 9.0. Thank you. Bye.